This episode of Scab Talk is brought to you by Lethal Gaming Gear. And welcome back to Scab Talk, everyone. Today's episode will be catching you up on the Tarkov news that we have for you this week. A little bit of a lighter week in Tarkov, so we're going to pivot to other games that we've been following and keeping our eye on.
Indeed. I think at this point, we're both jaded and cynical. We literally spent the last hour trying to migrate away from Skype. So we were using Skype to use NDI technology, and it's just been it's been such a headache. Skype finally disappeared, and obviously, we left it right up until the deadline to try and move across. We used the wonderful NDI tech this morning, and it's so finicky, it just doesn't work. So we've gone back to basics. So hopefully, it looks all right. So what's been going on in EFT? Not that much, actually. We're kind of in just a holding pattern. A few little bits that have occurred, but the labyrinth stuff is closed. The Grenadier Explodey quest line is still on at the moment, the Art of the Explosion, so you can go and buy RPGs from Grapple 4. I did finally manage to finish it. Took me an eternity. I should have gone with my best instincts, I think, and gone to streets, because there's millions of scavs on the streets. But I had so many people telling me just use the GP25s. It's so straightforward. Just kill scavs with the grenade launcher.
Mm-hmm.
And I had people in my chat just flabbergasted. They were astounded as to just how badly it performed for me. There's I've got scavs running in front of me. I shoot literally at their feet. It blows up around them, and the guy's cheeky break it, just keeps on running, right? Literally just does not care whatsoever about the fact that I'm blasting them with these GP25 grenades. I managed to kill myself with an F1 inside street somewhere. It was an unmitigated disaster, but I did finally manage to do it. So the thing that's I thought there was going to be another cool quest line coming, but it's not as good as some of the others. This one called Examinatio, it's a bit weird, but it's an arena quest line. There's 8 parts. That's, I guess, the latest event. It says Escape from Tarkov event, but event and in-game quest line are kind of the same thing these days. And it's all in arena. Unfortunately, there's no base EFT section to this. So it's all just winning games and whatnot. And the unfortunate part of it is that it does force you to do some non-respawn modes. I don't mind. I can kind of do anything in arena so long as I'm playing Last Hero and Checkpoint. I really don't mind. But if I'm forced to play Last Gang and Teamfight, it does make it a lot more painful. So the first, I will just whiz through them. I mean, they're not that hard. I'm halfway through, I think, or maybe I've just done part 3. I think the next one's not that difficult. But yeah, so you win 2 matches in Checkpoint to start with, and then kill 100 enemies in Checkpoint or Last Hero, so it's not too bad. You have to wear some Battle Pass gear for it. And then the part that's a bit annoying about this is kill 25 enemies in Teamfight or Blast Gang, and the part after that is win 3 matches in Teamfight or Blast Gang. So it kind of forces you into the non-respawn modes, which I just don't like playing them. I've never liked playing them particularly. I don't want to sit around watching other people, and they're very kind of... You know how it goes, right? It's like search and destroy game mode, and so people wait and they play the timers and this kind of thing, and especially with the way that the maps are in this game. And I mean, this is the same with all the others, but everybody knows where the contact line is, right? And that's kind of the thing that I didn't know about this stuff. It's both teams spawn at the same time in the same place. They rush towards each other, and then if you die, you're out of the round until the next round. And so the line of you have to basically just learn that line of contact first. What peak can see what other peak if you both rush as far forward as possible and give up as little ground as possible to start with. And there's some really annoying spots and stuff that I did sort of finally figure out. And the only way that I was actually not going completely insane doing this quest was somebody pointed out to me that you can play Teamfight, because I would instinctively just go, oh well, I guess I'll play Blast Gang then, because it's the least worst option. But you can play Teamfight on Chop Shop. So the map is tiny, and so it means that the game it can't
rounds
really
go by
last
much
that
quicker.
long. They're a lot faster, so it's a lot faster to get those wins or whatever, and to get those kills. I don't know. I've ended up just resorting to being a complete shitter, right, and just using full on Magnum buckshot, face shield, killer helmet, splash Vulcan, enforcer. I don't even bother trying to out
the gimmicky people. Meme. Strat.
Yeah, plus 5. I've gone for the full gimmick. MP7 round won't kill me in one shot directly to the face. people are expecting you to die and then you don't, and you're just magnum buckshotting them in the legs.
Hmm.
It's quite funny. I actually met parents like 4 times doing this quest, which is hilarious. Parents. One of the guys is like kind of like EU arena players.
Okay.
So, like, it was quite funny actually. Loads of people kept coming in to chat actually, because like there's not that many people that play arena.
The chat.
And yeah, well, it's really funny because this is the thing. Like, people were joking. They were like, "This is what happens when you don't have in-game chat." People are now just congregating in the streamers chat to discuss. Like, anybody who's in my lobby, like, come to my chat to like talk with the other people who are playing. It's like really, really weird. But yeah, I had some chance encounters with a few different people. I know parents from Twitter and stuff, and he was playing with me. We were playing the same. We were like sometimes on opposite teams, sometimes on the same team. And I can't remember whether this was yesterday or the day before. I think this was yesterday. I was doing the last hero section anyway, and played against some guy using an MDR with M80 in it. And I play quite a lot of chop shop, right? And I'm not I'm not the best player in the entire world, right? Of by any means. I'm not Shift W Chad guy or anything. But I played like my fair share of chop shop now, and I'm probably in the sort of, I guess, like the better selection of players on that map now, just because I know it so well and I've played it so often. Like, I was quite surprised to see that my win rate on chop shop in last hero, right? So 6 players, like, I come first 30% of the time, which I was quite pleased with. I'm actually quite pleased with that. I feel that's pretty good. And anyway, so I played this game the other day, and this guy's like on a whole nother level. Like, there's only one other player that I know that I've seen like this, and this guy was like better than him. It was insane. It was literally insane. And there's a guy called Dog7 in my Discord. He's like super, super good. And but he's like an ex-Halo, like semi-pro. And like when he literally first turned up, we were just like, this guy's cheating. Like, no way. But but he actually isn't. It's like really, really funny because you can hear on Chop Shop like what's going on. Anyway, so this guy that I played against, he was better than Dog. And I was just like, this is so weird. Like, I don't think he was playing that seriously at the beginning. And so I was like, his movement's like kind of weird. And then he like really tightened up like after the first like couple of minutes. And I was like, I just can't tell. I was like, this guy's either a prodigy or he's like cheating his ass off. Like, I really am so on the line. I can't tell. Like, I've never seen a player. I haven't played against somebody like this, and I've played a lot of Chop Shop, and I've played a lot of Last Hero, and I've never played against a player like this.
What was he doing?
Like,
that
man,
was
I just
like
can't tell.
making you.
It was just like he knew exactly where I was. He had like every possible angle. Like, you'd walk in, and he'd know exactly where you were going to be, and he'd be somewhere you wouldn't expect him. Gotcha. So and that's the thing. And he just kill you through like the tiniest little gaps and stuff. Like, not. But he was like, all of this. It was like it's all possible. But it's just so out of the ordinary. I'm just gonna have to report this guy. Like, I just can't tell him. You have to report and move on.
I love that.
I literally report him. 1 minute later, no general shows up. Just like, nice game, man.
Oh shit!
I was like, dude, I literally just reported you because you're so good that genuinely you look like you're cheating. Like, it's like I was like, I actually can't tell. I like genuinely can't tell. But I didn't know it was him, right? Obviously.
Yeah,
but
that's hilarious.
Nojo's like, top 10 players in EFT. So
yeah,
I was like, fair enough. And I came second and went like 30-30 or something. And I killed him a few times. So it was good fun. It was a good game. I was like, oh, that was such a good fight. But yeah, I was like, man, I genuinely I could not tell. And I was like, you're so out of the ordinary from what I expect to see. That's the thing. It's like, you got the bell curve of people, right? And like most people fit inside. Like, I don't always win, right? And there's people who are good, and you're like, okay, fine, fair enough. And I've had 1 or 2 situations that are just like kind of weird. Like, oh, this guy's like kind of sussy, and like he was like so far off the tail. Like, literally, he like had 60 kills. I don't think I've ever seen someone with 60 kills in this hero before in the game that I've played. Like, I came second, and I had half the number of kills. I had 30 kills, which is okay. It's like average. And he literally had twice the number of kills as like me, and I came in number 2 place. It was like so off the right tail in terms of skill level that like and because it's completely unranked, right? Like, you never normally see, even if you're skilled, you never see those other people. You're just ranked with like, you got your bell curve. You just rank with 5 like random people, or like other random people from the bell curve. So it's very unlikely to see somebody that good. But anyway, so that was a really funny chance encounter. And like when it just goes to show how good these guys are, the guys who are like right at the top. But anyway, long story short, so yeah, you have to win some team fight matches. I've been doing that on Chop Shop because that's probably the easiest. There's eliminate 10 enemies with assault rifles, marksman rifles, assault carbines, bolt action, submachine gun, shotgun, machine guns, and that's in Last Hero Checkpoint. So that's quite fun. I did like half of those in one raid because you can just swap between kits. You got to do 4th in Last Hero 3 times, get an MVP, and then there's a few other bits like win around after eliminating 3 enemies in team fight, which is probably going to be quite annoying, and earn a match MVP in any game mode, which is probably not too bad either. And there's 2 camos that you get for that, which is an urban camo and a green camo, and they're quite nice camos, which is why I'm kind of doing it. I think when did BSG say that we had until? It was written down on the tweet somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. One sec. Don't have it open anymore. There's still a bit of time. It goes until the 19th. So you've got a week and a bit. Like it's doable if you care. If you want to do it, then it's doable. But yeah, team fight on Chop Shop. That's my strategy of the week for doing this.
Nice.
Outside of that, that's basically all that's been going on in EFT. Outside of that, there's a fan film which is launched, which looks quite fun. I've been speaking to them a little bit. They did like a launch thing. Maybe we'll bring one of the guys on or something. I don't know. It's called Edge of Darkness. They've released a Kickstarter, so they've done all of the pre-production and all of that kind of stuff in the background. And they're basically making a fan film. They're doing it in Texas, I believe. There's the guy, kind of the writer, director, Keanu Cordero, who's doing it, and they've got like a whole bunch of people. They've got like people for set design and a bunch of different actors and whatever. And apparently, it's set in the EFT world, obviously, but it's like its own story. So it doesn't link in with any of the characters that are already as part of like BSG's IP, I suppose. I mean, BSG have backed this project as well. They say, yeah, go for it. You know, you can do what you want. Which, why would they not?
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be, a whole new set of characters or whatever, which I think is a good idea. It's a good way to go about it. There's no reason why they should carry on with BSG's characters or like complicate that. They can lean a lot heavier into kind of like the USEC side of stuff, given that they're in the States. They'll have access to a lot more of that kind of gear, which actually could be quite a good offset to the cinematic stuff that BSG do. So I think it'd be quite fun. I think it's quite exciting. I wonder how the Kickstarter's doing, actually. I haven't seen... where is it? I only looked at it on day one. I think they were trying to raise... Yeah, they were trying to raise 64... Oh, that's in pounds. They're trying to raise 85,000 US. And they've got about 3 so far. So you can... Yeah, you can go and like... put some... I'll probably go and like pledge to something, because I think it'd be just a cool thing to see them do. But yeah, there's like a load of different interviews with the guy himself and a few other people about like what they're trying to achieve. They've got various people who are involved in the project and whatnot. So like it's pretty fun. I quite like these kind of things. This is like something really serious too. It's not just a YouTube 1 hour like documentary video or whatever. It's like proper live action, like BSG style. I mean, it seems actually quite a small budget for whatever they're trying to achieve. The BSG stuff is quite a high budget, but they'll probably be able to borrow a lot of the kit and things like that, I would imagine. So we will see. But yeah, it looks cool. It looks cool.
That's neat.
Okay, right. Now, was there any other stuff from Nikita? I know Nikita had posted something, but I think we might have looked at it last week.
So he did.
Let me just
double
check.
This one here, which I think is new. Wait, no. This is...
There's one on the 6th that he's posted.
Older one. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. That's the one I want anyways. I grabbed the wrong one. Aha. This one. So is it just me? Or are my videos like canted off to the side on Twitter? Like misaligned. Is that just me? Is that you too?
I don't know. I don't know.
Can you check? Because it's driving me insane. So yours is centered?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. It depends. Like it's not angled.
So it's not centered. Like this is.
I don't think it's angled in any way.
Okay, it's not like this. Like I've had this fit to window, and you can see it's like off to the side. Yours isn't like that.
Mine is like that actually now. Yeah.
It is.
I think you're right. I don't think it used to be like that.
Yeah, it's driving me insane. Sorry, it's like it's so annoying.
I'm not sure if I care.
Today is just like the day where anything that's changed is like driving me insane. But anyways, on On to the Nikita reel teasers. A couple of different cool things in here. I mean, there's like some not so interesting things, but let's start with the most interesting. A new gun. Apparently, this is a what's it called?
Is this the Mark
SPR?
12?
Yeah, Mark 12 Special Purpose Rifle. I think it's like another alternate name, which is it's basically just like an M4 that's semi-auto and in like a battle rifle configuration. I think. Anyways, just like a really long
Also
ass barrel, like 18 or 20-inch, something like
like a
this.
7.62 type one.
No, 5.45 one.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
see.
And I mean, it's got like a fixed buttstock, kind of like what you'd see on like the M16s. Why isn't the video working now? Um, I'm trying not to lose it today. It's just, God, earlier setting up was just gnawing at me.
Setup was crushing. Yeah.
Anyways, new gun, new attachments for the M4 platform, probably. AR-15 platform, whatever. Then there's a Chrome model, whatever, some screenshot of a map. Then there's like animations of two different characters crouch, and they're doing like, I don't know, leaning. One guy looks like he's waving his hand. I'm assuming this is like for what would be like cutscenes in the single storyline quest, something like this. Like I'm not who who on earth knows what this is, but I think it's interesting.
It's hard to see. It's hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just like mocap data of, some of the people in the studio that they capture, and it's just being like rigged onto a character. I mean, maybe it's for like some type of film thing they're doing. I don't know, but when I see stuff like this, I just think, oh, okay, now we're really getting into like 1.0. This could be interesting, like because we saw what a couple weeks ago there was like USEX and BC armband ass people at
Oh yeah,
what was that place called? What we think
Terminal.
Terminal. Thank you. What we think was Terminal. So like I'm just like thinking, putting the pieces in my head. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like, you're gonna walk up and it's like press F to enter cutscene or something. It probably won't say that. It'll be like, and then boom, you just like, I don't know. Maybe it won't be a cutscene. Maybe it'll just be like characters doing animations, kind of like Lightkeeper, because Lightkeeper's animations do look pretty good overall, I would say.
They are good, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, all in all, looks cool. And then finally, there's like another cool thing, some type of AK. Shocker, I know, right? But this thing looks like a RPK variant of some sort. I have no idea. It might just be like
Darker Chat was saying it was a RPD, I think.
RPD. Don't we already have that though?
I think, or like a variant of.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
a variant of, yeah.
Oh no, sorry, Ash was saying.
I mean,
It's a variant of the RPD.
that's what it looks like. It looks like a more modern one. I don't know what that would be. But yeah, cool. More AK stuff, neat.
Hmm.
And then finally, playing along with my theory here, presumably this is therapist in like a, what's that called? A white. It's just like a model with no textures on it, but it's got like lighting
Yes,
and
the grey box person. Yeah.
yeah, gray box. There we go. And they're just standing there with like what looks like an aquamarine in the ground. They got a clipboard, hair, a little bit of a lab coat going on. I mean, I don't looking kind of like therapist to me. Just doing all these animations. Could also be.
Yep.
Was it blue hair girl or was it pink hair girl? Purple hair girl from that one?
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? So I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're approaching something exciting on that front.
Maybe there's. I mean, they've been working on a lot of stuff for a long time. Maybe there's a lot of stuff coming in 1.0.
I mean, it could. It's one of those things where it's been so secretive and nebulous that you just really don't know what they're gonna do. 'Cause they themselves have been hyping it up a lot, so we'll see.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay,
is
so
that it?
I mean that's the genuinely, I think that's it, right?
That's
For EFT, I think
it.
that's it. I don't think there's much else to talk about. I mean,
Cool.
yeah, just been doing the usual. So let's. Fortunately, we've got lots of other things to talk about with some other games. So which way do you want to go first? Do you want to go Great Time first, or do you want to go
I
Arc
want to
Raiders
go
first?
Arc Raiders first because God, I want to talk about
Okay,
something I'm really excited about. That game
that's good
really,
to have it in that order too, because that's actually like chronologically the way that this went. So
yeah, that one really blew me away. I was not ready. So I know last week I said like, yeah, I got to play an hour before the cast, and like, it's pretty good. Whatever. I don't even remember what I said, but like now that I had like 20 hours, oh man, I wonder if I could see. It was definitely at least 20 hours put in, both like solo and with
mhm.
squads. I'm just like, God, it's like they thought of everything. And I don't mean like quality of life stuff either. Like, yes, that, but like also they were just like, hey guys, it'd be really cool? What if we did this? Or like, damn, that is really cool. Let's do our best to execute on that one idea, make it amazing. And that's basically what they did with a lot of aspects of the game. I'm just like genuinely blown away. Like I cannot glaze the studio enough right now. Like you don't understand. Because I remember playing the finals, right? And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is pretty good, but like, you know, it was it felt a bit more too esporty for me to like really get into it. And I feel like my days of like first person esporty is just kind of like past, it's like
Yeah.
done and gone. Um but it was still like a cool game. It was more like arena shootery, and they had like some kind of neat ideas. Whereas this is just like, man, they really, just for me, they really knocked that apart. So they originally, I think I misquoted this last time. It was slated to be a co-op only game, and then at some point during development, they were like, let's scrap that idea. Let's make an extraction shooter. And my God, I'm glad they did because, and I don't know how much work they already had put in to like the previous co-op experience,
Mm.
but like it just fits perfectly whatever they had because man, like the AI is just so like it's a unique experience finding like drones, but like the way you interact with them is just like you're so immersed in it and it just feels so good. So like one of the really crazy things, right? So when you're playing this game, there's like probably one of the most common enemy types you'll see is like some type of like drone flying with like three or four little propellers, right? And
Yeah.
it's like it's like grounded in reality, so it's like a physics based model. If you shoot one of the propellers,
About the rotors, yeah.
yeah, then like it that affects how it flies, and so like it it just goes all crazy basically if you knock off enough. And they're really like kind of difficult to. They're kind of tanky to take out, but
Mm.
they're not all that. It's more of like a Helldivers experience where like if there's multiple of them, then it's really scary, or like if there's like the big boss, then it's like really scary. So we were playing on this map called Space City, I think, and it's just this really big map. And we've seen this like four-legged freak a few times in the distance, and you ping it and be like, "Oh, Bastion over there" or whatever. And I was like, I want to do a little trolling, so I shot at it, right? And then it gets aggro towards us, and it starts like sprinting to us. If it's four, like eight, like freaky spider legs that it's got, and then it leaps at us, Giga, leaps at us in the air, jumps, and it's like legs are like free falling in the air as it's leaping at us. We're like, oh shit! So we like dodge roll, and then when it lands, it like does some sort of like gravity well type of situation and like a little AoE damage. And we were fighting it, and we put so much rounds into it. We were like, wait, guys, I know I was trolling, but we can actually kill this thing. It was like on fire and falling apart and stuff, but it killed us all right. And it was like such a crazy experience. Like it was just like masterfully executed on the animations, like the experience, like So good. And so later, right, we were like, well, I wonder if we could take out, because we had gotten a few different items like grenades that specifically called out it was like highly effective against arc plating, which arc
Hmm.
is like the AI enemies you fight, like the drones and whatnot. And so we were like, what if we took this and try it against this, like, I forget what it's called, this like walker thing. It's like an actual eight-legged giant head that's got like a Gatling gun attached to it. And like when this thing fires too, like you can't even hear your teammates screaming on comms what's going on. You know, like we'll be all be fighting, and then someone will be like, I'm taking shots," and we're just like still fighting it, locked in, ignoring our teammate getting shot by someone else. But we've learned that there was weak spots on it, which were like the joints of its legs, and you take it out, and like they take forever to break and stuff, and then it's got like a weak spot on its back. So we're like sitting there and we're fighting it. We're like managing aggro from like the Gatling gun because it just like spins around and it's like, oh, get down. And this thing, I mean, the Gatling gun will kill you in like a second if you let it just like go on
Yeah.
you. And so we get it. I mean, it's like smoking. It's like got two legs. It's like crawling. And so we get it, and it like falls over, right? And it like stops moving. It's like, oh, let's go loot it. Let's go loot it. And then suddenly it's like, and then it's like it starts going crazy. Like it did like a fake death animation. It's like, oh shit, it's still alive. So we had to kill it again. It was God. It was so cool. So cool. The
That is awesome.
The first, yeah, that's like my first point is like the AI enemies are just like phenomenal.
Yeah, because I mean, you've leapfrogged ahead of me because I hadn't played it at all when we
Hmm.
talked about it last time, and I have now only played like an hour and a half because I didn't have enough time to play because it's just I was busy and the playtest was only very short and I only got in right at the end, so it's kind of unfortunate. But I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, there was lots of things about it structurally seemed quite decent. Like I think I was talking about it last time about how the map size is big enough that it means
Yeah.
that you can play it a bit more tactically, a bit more sneaky. I feel like Marathon is the comparison. The maps are quite little. You can traverse them
Hmm.
quite quickly. They're quite dense, so it's hard to avoid fights. So you can avoid fights and sneak about. It's a lot more of a survivally kind of game.
Yes.
It's also set up really nicely because there's like cutscenes when you first enter the game, which is
Hmm.
pretty much just saying this is what's happening. Humans live underground. Ark, which is the big baddie boss like robots, they've taken over the surface and they won't stand to have human settlements on the surface. So all the people live underground, and you come up through this lift, and then it opens up, and then you go and do your stuff, and then you go back down into the human settlement underneath through another one of these lifts. And yeah, it's cool. It's like such a cool setting. It's very very nice, and it seems that if you're playing solo, there's a very high leaning towards
Probability.
putting solo players in. It won't always be solos, but
Hmm.
most of the time you're grouped up with other solos. There's like a very much a preference for similar sized teams than the one that you're in. If you're just queuing by yourself, so you can actually play on your own, and it's not too bad. And I also like I didn't play against any of the bigger bots or really get into any PvP, but I did have a go at shooting the drones and stuff. And it's like it's as you say, they're quite tanky. They do take a bit of time to take down, especially if you're on your own. But they don't really shoot at you that much. So you can kind of start. It's very telegraphed when they're going to fire.
Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah.
more
That's a
like
good way of putting
sentries,
it.
aren't they? Yeah, it's like it's very telegraphed when they're going to shoot. So they're an obstacle, but they're not necessarily like actually
Hmm.
that threatening per se. But it's more the noise they make, the fact they bring in reinforcements, all of this stuff. And I think because I was playing on the starter map, then there wasn't really any reinforcements to bring in. But I'm sure later on it gets harder, and on different maps that have got bigger enemy populations with bigger bots, then they can probably be brought in by them. What are they called? There's like hornets, wasps, or whatever they're called. I can't
Yeah.
remember their name. Um,
Rocketeers, another one.
yeah, there's like quite a few. There's just like quite a lot of nice little things about it, though. Like I actually jump scared in it at one point because I came out of a doorway and one of the
Yeah.
security cameras saw me, and it's like
Yeah.
going off this like alarm, and I was like, oh my god! I turned around, but it's just a security camera, so you can shoot the security camera and blow it up. Um, and there's like loads of the stuff the game that I didn't even get into properly, but you get to fiddle around with a bit of it just going around the world, which is that there's a lot of verticality to
Hmm.
the maps. So there's big underground basementy bits, and there's very tall high up sections. but that's managed without it being like sprawling because of these zip lines. So you kind of zip line from one bit to another. So it's not like you've got 27 floors of a skyscraper or something. It's like there's the top like 2 or 3 floors,
Right.
and then you go on the zip line to the basement. There's not really anything in between. So it kind of feels like the world's expansive and quite nice without it getting lost in its own scale, which I think is actually quite clever way of doing it. And yeah, I think I said last time that it was sort of grounded in some ways, but futuristic in others. So you kind of understand the vibe without them being tied too much down to, realism either. And all the guns kind of remind me a bit more of. They remind me a lot more of like Hunt Showdown.
Yeah,
it's like the guns are
I
either
think
like
you
they're
said
either
that,
like
yeah.
fast fire and weak, or
Right.
very powerful, but like break action, for example. So I was using the break action, a bit like the break action gun in EFT, really. So I was using that because that allows you. That's the only way that early you can get access to like powerful ammunition. But there's like you don't have a scope on it or anything, right? You're just using that iron sights like boomstick kind of thing.
Exactly.
So again, that feels different to something like Marathon, where it's like that. Those guns pretty much come with the scope. Like there's I didn't have a scope on this thing. I was just using it to just clip the wings off these drones, to clip the rotors off. And so because of that, then it's less about just a full auto pew pew, and you have a shield as well. It's like it's this weird sort of balance of stuff. So I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. There's gripes about the thing. TTK may be slightly too high once you get into it. I'm not sure. The teams thing's sort of mitigated by the matchmaking, it seems, but there are shields. Maybe that's not a problem. The third person thing, kind of, I don't know. It causes usual third person problems of people hear you and then they're behind a pillar and they see you coming because you can't see them because you can look around the wall and you can pre-aim and then just pop out and shoot them. So there is that. But I don't know. Like the game feels good to play and the systems are quite cool. Like the crafting, I only interacted with the systems a little bit, but the quests are pretty usual. You bring back stuff like in EFT, but they don't necessarily feel particularly onerous, or not the ones that I've done so far. And then when you're unlocking stuff, you unlock, you have a room, you unlock extra benches to craft things on, and the craft happen instantly. So you've got your materials, then you just decide, do I want more of this, or do I want to sell this, or do I want to use this to hand into the trader to barter for this, that, and the other? Feels quite sort of freeing, There's not much time gating or anything going on. It's like, you have these materials, here you go. And then there's an automatic. I'm not sure exactly what timer it was on. It seemed to be quite fast, but maybe that was just for the test, where this chicken brings you like random materials.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that is a weird mechanic, but like, okay, from a gameplay perspective, I get it. But like, I was like a little bit like immersion broken. That's a bit strange. But
what do you mean? If you want to upgrade it, you just slap it on a dog collar and wrap a blanket around it. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's very weird. It's a very weird mechanic. It's a very, very weird mechanic. That was actually probably one of the few sort of design choices. Like gameplay wise, I couldn't care less, right? Like it's completely fine. It's a perfectly fine mechanic to give people a boost. But from like an aesthetic choice, I find that really strange. I found that one a really, really odd choice. Everything else felt like could actually be part of this world, and so that's why I think that in particular, I was like, like everything else is like really well thought through, and that just seems sort of like a gimmicky afterthought that actually I don't like very much.
I took it as just like a funny thing. Like it's like it makes no sense, and that's the funny part about it.
No freeze in my games.
I never really
serious. Everyone's living underground. The bots have taken over. What's funny about that?
But yeah, I mean, it actually it kind of struck me as like Chinese-esque, game design decisions. You know what I mean? It's just like something just have like just really weird, obscure. It's like, oh yeah, there's a mystical cat that grants you lucky coins that you can exchange for power-ups. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, sure. In my military simulator.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But the mechanic, I don't care. So it really doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. It's like a very minor gripe. But no, I mean, it felt not. And there's the skill tree that you go through. You get earn points for that, and you upgrade your character. It's almost, I think it seems to me like the skill tree is just a permanent progression booster, right? Like it's not like a build crafter.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I would sort of rather things be like build crafty rather than just unlock all this stuff. Like unlock all this stuff is fine. I would personally rather like because Darktide has that, for example, where you can reset it and remake it however you like. But I quite like leaning into an archetype or a build or whatever it is, and you've got here's a certain number of points, and you can only have so many, and you need these prerequisites if you're going to get to these milestones. I kind of think that would be better. It doesn't need to be uber complicated. If it ends up being too complicated, it ends up like ARPG style, and like these days that just puts me off completely. It's like 15,000 different mechanics all layering over the top of each other that you need a calculator built by Veritas in order to understand what your damage output's actually going to be. Like that kind of thing. I like it when it's when it's intuitive and makes a difference. You can kind of understand what's going to actually.
I wonder
what it's actually going to do. But I mean, just a permanent progression thing it's okay. I'm not. It's all right.
I wonder how much the stuff actually mattered, because I noticed there wasn't any like details. Like one of the ones I went down the yellow tree, which was like mobility related, even though some of the like I think the red tree has like some stamina related stuff. But anyways, one of the ones I got was like your slides go further, right? And like I maxed it out, but like I really could not really tell. You know what I mean? Like I don't even remember what 0 was felt like. You know what I mean? So I don't know how much they actually matter, and it would be nice to know. But I do agree. Yeah, it's like I would much rather have a light, emphasis on light, because I am kind of with you. I don't want to, because the problem too, if you go down that rabbit hole of, oh, what if you like have these crazy diverse builds? Then it's like, okay, I see this guy, now I have to account for 2,000 to 568 different builds that he could have without actually knowing what he has, because I have no way of seeing it until he does the thing. It's like, oh, I shot him in the head, and now he has Berserk activated, which activates his other ability that gives him infinite ammo. You know what I mean? It's just like, no.
Yeah.
Stop it. Let's just keep it simple. So we'll see how that pans out. But I think it's kind of nice for, those types of mechanics in games where it's like progression, more. It's like you just kind of keep going with the tree. It kind of scratches that loser brain, but we'll see. I'm curious to see what they do. I got another thing that I wanted to tell you about.
Mm-hmm.
The other wow factor for me was the utility in the game. Because, like, if you think about track shooters in EFT, for example, it's like you got grenades, and you got meds, and you got smokes, and maybe you got like GL or something. It's like we've already kind of just like, and then you got gun. It's like most of these utility items are just like ending life, or like, smokes are kind of a gimmick. I don't think that anyone really uses them.
Yeah, it's like smokes are a gimmick, GLs are a gimmick. It's basically like grenades sometimes and like stims. That's really it.
And something like this just like really blew me away, that they like some of the things they incorporated and how you actually interact with them. So I guess I don't even know where to start, but I guess since you mentioned it, zip lines, you can like I don't know if you can craft zip lines innately, but like if you have to get blueprints, because maybe we'll talk a little bit about that, but you can acquire zip lines, right? And you like pull them out as one of your like equipables, and then you shoot it, and it like deploys. I mean, it's basically like the one in Apex Legends of Pathfinder, I think. Like it just creates a starting point and an end point, and then like boom, you go. And so one of the things we did, there was like on the starter map, there was this high tier area that a lot of people would traffic to, and there was like a sniper turret on top. So I was like, wait, I got an idea. So we climbed up on like these pipes, and I shot the zipline up there. So now we're just like on top of this building, took out the sniper turret. Now we're the sniper turret shooting at people. But it was just so cool that you could like traverse to that spot, and you could like basically, because like, yeah, the map's got a lot of verticality to it, but you may be able to only access so many floors of verticality within that location. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you got a giant ass building, you may be able to only access like the basement and like the rooftop and like a floor on the 9th floor or something. Whereas like zipline kind of changes a lot of like what you can do there. So that was really cool. And then another thing I figured out was some of these doors would be like breachable, and you had to like take your cane slash crowbar slash pickaxe and jam it in there and like fidget with the door. Like the animations for this stuff just looks so good. And then you can like break the door and go in. Well, there's a deployable or like an equipment that you can use to like apply, like lock the doors, put like a bar across the door to lock it. So someone has to do animation. So you could like run away from someone, close the door behind you, and then like set that thing up to give yourself some time. I just thought like there's so many like, so now you can like take a map layout and like think of like these little strategies with this thing. It's like, oh, if I run through here, close this door, I can do this, and like, then I can flake around, and just like so many cool things you could do. Then there was, it's like different grenade types, smokes, etc. But then there was a flare, and I was like, why would you want a flare? And so, because when in this game, when you die or when you go down, rather, you automatically like shoot up a flare, which is interesting because people on the map can see that, and so they can take that information and say, "Oh, someone died over there." Especially if you hear shots as well. It's like you can see that someone went down. So it's like an incentive to go PvP, I guess, when you're not even in the area.
Yeah.
But then they have these little deployable flares, and you can like, I was like, "Oh, this is used to bait people," but it's even better because you can set it. There's like a little UI when you pull it out. You set it down, and it's like a little, I don't know, firework mortar thing, right? And then you can press the other button to launch it, so you can set it down, go get in your little rat spot, and then launch it and sit and wait for people to go. I was like,
No
dude, this is
way.
so genius that they thought, yeah. And you could, that's just like one application, right? So you could like take these and like combine them. You could like take a door, lock it. Now I'm gonna go over here, zip line up. Or no, and then I'm gonna place the flare. Then I'm gonna take the zip line up to the high ground. Boom, launch the flare. Now it's like you can take. Then they're gonna get in this trap. And it's like, oh, they're gonna try to leave, and it's like, no, the door's been locked. It's like the layers here and like things you can do with it. I just thought were so genius. And there's more. Okay, the two rare items I found, and one was like a wand, Giga. I mean, it was literally like I'm taking this hairbrush, right? It was like this, and there was like a coat hanger used as like a wand, okay? And I was like, what is this thing? And your description was like, conceals you from arc enemies. I'm like, what? Is this like active camo? Do you like wave the wand around you and you become visible? So you use it and it pulls up and it plays like a dial tone or like a dial up sound. It's like and like literally you walk up to the thing, you hold it down, you get like a durability bar, and the robot eye will be yellow, where it's and then it's like that was like your last notification, so it's like scanning the area, but you're like emitting a sound wave basically that makes you invisible. And I was just like, oh my god, this is genius. You can just like, but like players can hear you, but like if there's like a giant swarm of deadly enemies, like the Bastion, the four-legged freak that I was talking about, you could just be invisible and like I was just like, dude, this is so smart, right? And then here's the next one. I only got to use this once. So I killed a guy, or there was this crazy fight breaking out, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I killed him, maybe it was a dead body. Yeah, I think it was a dead body, and I looted it, right? And it was, I don't even remember what it was called, but it looked like a gun, but it was an equipment thing. I was like, what is this? I'm like, so, and I didn't really get to look at it. And then fighting players, I was in like a big solo lobby, and like things were going down. It was like getting really crazy, right? And so I'm like sitting here. I'm like, oh wait, this is a zip. This is like a grappling hook, and I'm like, did they really put a grappling hook in the game? So then I take it, I aim it, gives you a little crosshair, and I shoot it, and then it, deploys a rope, attaches, and then yoinks me up. I'm instantly on the rooftop. I start mantling, and there's like a guy there, and he's like freaking out that I just like came out of nowhere, and he started shooting me, and I'm like shooting at him, and then I go down and fall off the roof. I was just like, oh my god, I was not at all ready for that, but I was just amazed that it's just like, yeah, this is like, I mean, it's like you just took like a Apex Legend ability or something, and like boom, it's an equipment item, and like you can find it in raid, and like now your power level just went up. It's just like, god, this is so genius.
And like that's so much better than doing it as an ability hero shooter type thing, right?
It
like
feels
put
like
the
that,
abilities
yeah.
in the game as consumables, right?
But yeah, that was the other thing. It's like it's not even consumable, but you get like it has like its own stamina bar, which I thought was like
Mm.
even cooler. I was like, oh my god, it's like same with like the wand. It's like, oh man, it's just like I I'm
Yeah,
in
just really
love with this
interesting
game.
interactions.
Yeah, I'm in love with, and like I was not like between the two when I saw like Marathon and Arc Raiders, like these games are upcoming. I was like, Arc Raiders. This looks like some, I'm gonna be on like some planet that's gonna look like all purple, and there's gonna be a Mass Effect vehicle I'm gonna ride around in and like hop out and shoot aliens. It's like, oh, it's an extraction shooter, and it's like, meanwhile, it's like, no, this thing's gritty. You hear a gunshot, you're crapping your pants. It's just like,
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny, isn't it? It's so funny how these things work. But to be fair, I would say though, you make a good game, people find out these days. Like
mm,
you make something decent, people know because people will play it for a bit and be like, "Oh, I see, they might be cooking here," and then a few streamers pick it up, and then like, boom, it just comes out of nowhere. And if the game doesn't quite do it, like with Marathon, a bunch of people pick it up and they're like, I don't know, like, I'm not sure. This is not really what we expected. It's interesting. It's very meritocratic now, I think, the gaming. But no, it's interesting. I really wish I could have played it more. There's
yeah.
just so much about it that seems cool and interesting, and it seems like they've managed to. Yeah, I don't really know. Like it's one of those weird things where do they even know? Like who knows? Like it's very
Do
it's
they
very
even
hard
know
with
how
games
good it
now,
is?
right?
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like it's like, do they even know how? Like, does anybody really know how to make the next hit? Like, no
Mm,
one really knows, and it's like a combination of stuff. Like Tarkov is basically by accident, right? Like they had no idea that it was going to be as big. They didn't think it was going to be anywhere near as big as it was.
yeah,
Um, it's just like, just I don't know. It's just very hard to know,
I know
right?
what
It's
you
like
mean though.
back in the day, all the good games, they all came out of like mods. The 10,000 people made a mod, and one of them was good, and
You're
that's the
right,
one that came
right,
through.
right.
Yeah, people have tried to bottle up the secret source and turn it into a real game and make it good, but it's like you can't just like manufacture that by committee. Something just has to appear out of nowhere. AAA really struggles with this kind of thing usually, and like, sometimes people have got some kind of cool thing. It's like it does seem to mix together a lot of good stuff. It's like the ability stuff, but bottled up within these sort of standard bar consumables without them being connected necessarily to your character. Mobility in an interesting tactical way without it being a movement shooter.
Hmm.
Weaponry that is fun to use and interesting and balanced without it being a full auto spammer. It's like lots of things about this that make it play out differently. Like it actually plays out as if Hunt Showdown was on a map the size of like I don't even know. Like I'm not sure really what to even compare it to, but like I don't.
A
Daisy
classic
is a bad
OG
example, but maybe,
Battlefield
but like
map.
like a classic Battlefield. It's like yeah. Why did I even start that off? It's just like so many combinations of different things together,
Hmm. Hmm.
but in a way that is unique and
Compelling.
different. And the world feels great. Like even extracting in the big lift feels great. Calling in the thing you type in the computer and it's the big like
Oh yeah, do you remember that
armored
thing?
lift comes up. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, I was really so one time my friend went down near the extract and he was like, "Oh, I could just crawl in and get it." I was like, "Really?" I was kind of like skeptical that was a mechanic because I'm like, "You can't do that in extraction shooters. That's not allowed." But and then it happened to me once, right? And so you're down, but you're in the extract, but the thing's not going because it has like a timer when it will automatically go back underground to extract you,
Oh, does it?
basically.
Okay.
I think that's how it works. But you can like activate it to go down
Hmm.
sooner if you get on the computer. So when you're down, you can go to the thing because you're crawling, and then your character will do an animation. He'll like lift himself up off the ground, like struggling, and like doot doot doot, press the button, and then it'll fall back down, and then you'll extract that way. I was like, dude, that's so cool. It's like you did you technically you're in the extract, but like the Rocketeer shot a rocket inside there and killed you, but you could still like get out. I was like, dude, that's just like it's like I did 98% of the work. You're not gonna put me over the 2% to get there. Come on, man. It's like I had
Yeah.
amazing raid, and then like I just get screwed at the very last second, and it's like
And it gives you one more chance. That's the
you
thing. It
get
gives
you
you one
get
last chance.
yeah. This is like yeah.
This is the thing. The game seems to be like lenient in the ways that the players appreciate and harsh in the ways that actually provide the challenge.
That is a great way
Like
of
it's
putting
fun.
it.
And I really do think that the enemy design, it really goes to show all the stuff that we've talked about, where it's like you can make things tense and interesting having other players there. Like the E part, yeah, you can have some really, you can have some special stuff for the PvE bit, but the broad strokes PvE really is just to make noise and things. Oh yeah, I did want to talk about the looting because, like,
Oh
looting in
yeah,
EFT
me
makes a
too.
sound, right? Looting in EFT makes a sound, and that's one thing that you always have to think about. There's like
Yeah.
sounds for going into your inventory, sounds for reloading, sounds for medding, sounds for going in drawers, whatever. Filing cabinets particularly noisy for some reason. But this game takes that concept to the whole new level. Like normal looting is pretty quiet, like opening a drawer, whatever. That's like pretty quiet. But this whole crowbar thing that you have with you, it's like,
Yes.
do you want to loot this thing? Do you really want the loot in there? Like, do you really want it? Like, if you do, you're gonna have to crowbar this bad boy open, and it's like, bang, bang, and you're like attracting in all the, like, the little drones and stuff because they hear you from a mile away because they've like accentuated that aspect of the game to like it's to the nth degree. But it's a choice, right? It's a player choice. It doesn't feel like
Hmm.
you have to do that. It's like, well, you either loot it or you don't. Like you're thinking, do I take a risk? Like, do I do it? Like,
Right.
I feel like I'm alone, so I guess
Yeah.
I'll go for it. And then if you get got, you're just like, damn, I guess someone was here, right? It's like it's kind of your like it's on you. It's like here's the mechanic. It's on you now. Like it
Hmm.
feels very unsafe when you do that, and that's I quite like how that's done. It just feels like there's a lot of stuff in the player's hands in terms
Yes.
of like the choices that you're making and the risk reward, because it's all about risk reward. But if there's no like this, there is no risk reward if you don't give players choices. You need to give them meaningful choices, and make a ton of sound to get a bit of extra loot. Is it's sort of the kind of like
Basically.
yeah, there's like, especially with like low tier loot as well. It's just like, do I really want to make all this sound to pick up like a few scraps of like metal or whatever? It's like the old adage for insurance. If you're like a provider of insurance, is like a old finance stuff. But if you're like a provider of insurance, you're like picking up pennies in front of the steamroller kind of thing. Like 90% of the time it'll be all right, but sometimes you get run over. So that kind of thing. Like, does it? Does do all the little opportunities that you take, does that make it worth getting like steamrolled like one
Hmm.
time out of 100? It's cool. It's very cool, man. I so wish I could have put more time into it, but yeah.
Well, hopefully, I think it's slated to come out for sometime this year. I mean, there's no date, but yeah, I mean, and it's like, and to that point, I mean, apparently there's been a couple other playtests, but I don't know how long this game's been in development or like where it's at, but like, you know, it it felt like it was 95% ready to go. Like honestly, you could ship it now and it'd probably be fine, but they want to like do whatever they want to do. Maybe it's like more content stuff or like I played it and like genuinely the like two critiques that I had was like one, maybe you could do something with like I don't know, this was like a hard one to really quantify or like critique in a way because it's like it felt like there was a little bit of a meta developing around the boomstick because like it's almost
It's really good.
yeah, I mean it's like really powerful for like everything, killing AI or arc enemies and players, but you can't like one tap a player, at least not someone who has shields of any kind.
No.
Um, but like if you get hit with that thing, it's like it takes your entire light shield out, and like if you get hit with a headshot, it's like your light shield's gone, and like you're down to like 1/3 of your remaining HP. Like it's a lot. And so imagine like there's a 3-man sitting on top of a building and they're just taking pop shots at you. It's like that part feels kind of bad. I mean, that scenario, you're like a solo, right? But
Yeah.
maybe if you're 3v3 and you're like one guy shooting at another guy and suddenly his buddies come around, start shooting at you before your buddies do, like there's just like a certain thing where it feels like once you add another, like, let's say you got a gun that takes like 100 rounds to down someone, but it's like a bullet hose, right? And so if you
Yeah.
add another one to it, it's like, well, yeah, the TTK increased twice, but like you got to go through all those bullets. You know what I mean? It's like you got to spend the time to. Whereas like a single shot, it's like there is no like rate of fire necessarily. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
you can just like basically 3, 2, 1, shoot the guy, and then both of you shoot, and then he's down instantly. So that part
Yeah,
to
yeah,
me
yeah.
feels a little sketchy, because it feels like it favors squads a bit more than solos. Even though as a solo, it feels like you really want that gun because it's good. It's
Mm.
just like a good gun, but it's like even better in teams. So I was thinking maybe what they could do is like lower the base damage, if you will, but like increase the headshot damage. That way, if you're,
Mm, yeah,
you know, a solo, if you land a really good shot, you get rewarded a bit more. And whereas,
that
like,
makes
if you're a
sense.
firing squad, it's not as strong. But again, that's like
Yeah.
a real. I'm not even sure if that would be good. And like, how much more damage should it do? Should it one tap people? Like, I don't know. It's like Mosin Man all over again. I'm not too sure about that.
It's interesting that you brought that up actually, because like TTK
Hmm.
is it's certainly an interesting topic, because like a single number TTK that takes into account damage per round and fire rate
Hmm.
actually misses the spectrum which turns up in like the actual tactics of how you use these guns. And you alluded to that before, basically saying, a gun that's a bullet hose but takes 100 rounds versus a one shotter that does the same amount of damage, right? It's like it's the reload speed or the rack speed of that individual round that determines the TTK. But those two
Hmm.
things are very different. It's like, um, in sci-fi type games, it's like laser versus like tank shell type situation, and like
Hmm.
how you
Yeah,
play with
yeah,
those
yeah.
things is really really different. And what's interesting is that I almost feel that maybe that accentuates the high damage, low fire rate situation in the case of having third person play, because the reason why
Oh,
it's different,
yeah, I see what you're
if you've got
saying.
the bullet hose gun,
Hmm.
say you've got the laser, right? The if you take it to its logical conclusion, the laser and the bullet hose, and the single shotgun have the same TTK. The,
Hmm.
the laser never has to reload at all. I imagine there's just no reload. There's no energy
Hmm.
cells, nothing. To actually kill somebody, you've got to be on target for the whole time,
Yes.
that whole time. And the implication there is that you're hitting them, but you're also exposed as well. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
to expose
yeah.
yourself the entire time. The thing about like Mosin Man, or the whatever it is, whatever bolty thing it is in this game, is that you can do the whole pop out bang, and you get
Exactly.
all of your TTK in one go, and then you can hide again. So like Mosin Man, even though the two guns have the same TTK, Mosin Man actually wins against Laser Guy if there's any terrain whatsoever. And in a third-person shooter, that's even stronger, because you
That's a
can
good point.
you can
Yeah.
use the terrain to lean and see where they are. You can pop out, shoot your single mega powerful bullet, and then go back in again. And Laser Guy doesn't stand a chance. Like Laser Guy actually needs a lot higher TTK to make it make
Because
sense, because yeah,
during the late Bolty guy's TTK cycle, a portion of that he can be in cover, whereas Laser Guy
exactly,
has to stay out the entire time to get the full to reach the same
yeah,
power level. That's super interesting.
exactly. Exactly. So TTK kind of misses this concept. It's like two ends of the same spectrum.
Hmm.
It's like, you know, how does the burst of your TT what does your TTK profile look like? Laser Guy on a chart is just straight line. Mosin
Yeah,
Guy is one big spike and then nothing, and then
yeah.
a big spike and then nothing. And it's why tank battles end up being like behind buildings. You roll forwards, you fire, you roll back, you reload, you roll forwards, you fire, you roll back. It's the same as the Mosin. It's exactly the same logic, where you can be in cover. But if you've got like lasery type gun, some kind of fast fire and high rate fire MG or whatever, like you need to be out to shoot it, um, to make it work. And yeah, the cookie down in chat said like shotguns have no range and that's their balance. But like if you've got a bolt action
Yeah,
weapon, then
that's
then
interesting.
that's kind of different, right? But I guess shotguns also, they have no range, but then you don't need to be as accurate, because a
Hmm.
shotgun
Hmm.
hits in like a cone or whatever. So
Right.
that's like a different type of balance. That's sort of a range thing as well. Whereas with a longer shot weapon, you do have range, but you have to hit your shot. Um,
That's a
but
very
it also but it depends on the health too. It also depends on the health. Like
yes.
if all the bullets do 100 damage and players only have 50 HP, then you want to be Laser Guy, right? So this is the second part to it. Over the top of that is that it all depends on player health as well. Like if the maximum damage output from Bolty Guy is 50, and all the player health is 250, you want to be bolty guy. But if laser guy can like beam you in like 0.3 of a second, you probably want to be laser guy. You know, it's like you
Yeah,
have
it's
to hit your shot if you're
relative.
bolty guy. So it's relative to the different healths that you have as well. It's like the higher the relative health, the better bolty guy does. The lower the relative health, the better fast fire rate guy does. So lo and behold, what's got really, really like low TTK for headshots and stuff like that? Escape from Tarkov. What's good in Escape from Tarkov? The fastest fire rate you can get. Case in point, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason. It's about relative HP and it's about the TTK, like the shape of the TTK. It's like it's those two things together.
That's a really interesting point with and perspective of third person as well, because yeah, you basically get to pre-aim your shot in cover, which
Yeah.
further amplifies your efficiency in exposing yourself and dealing your big bursts of damage. So and I was thinking, I was like, oh well, yeah, this lends even more merit to like reducing the the base damage and like upping the headshot damage. But even then, I don't know if that would really help because you could still pre-aim in a way behind cover. So I'm not sure what would be, because yeah, I mean, if you're playing in first person, the thing you have to deal with is if you want to get info, you have to expose yourself, which makes it makes the game much harder because when you rear around a corner, you're receiving new information all at once. So is the other person, but the other person has a still image. Like, let's say I'm a guy sitting in a warehouse and I'm just sitting in a corner, right? A dark corner, not naming any names. But I couldn't think of anyone to slide off as a joke. But anyways, let's say you're sitting in the corner and I'm coming in the warehouse. Boom, I kick open the door, and then let's say let's say I'm just like a Giga Chad, just like sprint straight in. It's like I have all this like visual information coming in, and it's moving too. Whereas like the guy sitting in the corner, he's got like Hawkeye, he's like Predator vision. Any slight movement, like there's a little rat that like squeaks across the ground, he like sees that, you know what I mean? It's like he can't help but see like the singular water leak dropping down onto the ground, making a puddle. So like any movement, he's gonna pick up on instantly. So he has a lot easier time reacting versus the guy sprinting in. Once you start factoring online gaming and latency, it gets a little hairy. But let's just set that aside. Now let's say you're doing the more tactical thing, right? Where you're like, instead of just like running straight in, you're going to like slice the pie, as they say. So where you like approach the doorway or whatever at a corner to make a very tight angle where you can only see partial into the warehouse, and you keep rotating yourself, pivoting yourself to that corner till you slice the entire pie of that viewable section to the warehouse until you cleared what you could see within cover, right? And so then when you go in, you have to basically play a game of 50-50. Do I clear left first or do I clear right first, right? Because you can't see around the corners, once you're looking through the doorway. So now you go in, you check left really quick, nothing's there. You check right, and it's like boom, there's the rat, right? And so that is a much different experience than if I'm third person. I'm sitting behind cover, and I just get to like without even like exposing myself at all. I just get to clear the doorway, and then I can turn my camera largely still in cover, and then clear the corner, and then do the same thing and clear the corner. So it's kind of like you just get free, which is like, it's a nice. It's like you gotta take the good and the bad. The bad thing about third person is when you get into player versus player situations, both players, if they're like playing optimally, they're gonna use that camera to gain information without exposing themselves, right?
Yeah.
And then that gets into weird fights where like I know he knows where I'm at because I'm also in cover and I took a shot at him, and and I know where he's at and he knows where I'm at. But like if I just like run out and charge him behind cover, he's just gonna pop out and shoot me at any given point in time. So it's like it makes the fights kind of weird and not feel that great when you both know where each other is behind cover.
Hmm.
But the upside is like you basically are never caught off guard or surprised. That's like within reason, I guess, because if you're coming around a corner, like before you actually reach the corner, you get to see what's ahead of you, right? So if anything's
Yeah.
out there, like a drone, it's like, oh crap. It's like I know now I need to be slow and like stealthy, right? Whereas if you're playing first person, it's like I have to actually expose myself, and the drone's like sitting right. Like, have you ever came around a corner in Tarkov and there's just like a silent scav just like right there in your face? Like, it's like, oh god, it's like jump scared me. One on suka, boom, 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 So I mean, you gotta take the good with the bad, and I like that you can shoulder swap because then it makes it a little more tactical for me. It's like, oh, I'm going a left side peek. Let me swap my shoulder to the other side. The camera moves. Like I like that, but I know I went on a
I didn't
long.
figure out how to do that. Is it just in the controls?
Oh, I think it's X by default, but for next time now you
I
know.
didn't. Yeah, I'll have to check. No, it's certainly interesting. I had an interesting thought, which was that what if your character can't see the enemy? It doesn't appear, even in third person.
That's a like you both have to have direct
Like you have
model
to have like
sight.
direct line vision, otherwise you can't. Otherwise they don't appear.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
an
know whether that
interesting
makes it good or
idea.
bad, or maybe like do that just for players. Like you could do it for PVE. Like you can see PVE always, but like you can only see players if you actually have direct line of sight to them or something.
I
I
feel
don't. I don't
like
know.
there
I
might
was just.
be that might be an interesting mechanic because I feel like it'd be pretty simple to like it shouldn't be impossible to set up. I wonder how you would set it up in a way that would feel more intuitive because like you know, imagine you're sitting behind a corner, right? And you're like, "Oh, coast is clear." And then you veer out, but like your camera can see it, can see the hallway. But now your actual player character's in the hallway because you moved out. And then suddenly, because your player character's in the hallway, there's like a vector being drawn straight ahead, right, of your position, your player character, and it's like, or maybe it's like a cone, and then it's like intersecting with the other player, and suddenly on both of your screens, or I guess on your screen, he just appears in thin air, like in the middle of the hallway, running at you. You're like, oh crap, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
how would you handle that in a way that's intuitive? Like, I don't know how you would, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's one of those things where it's like you can imagine lots of situations that feel bad about it. Like in chat, people were saying like, well, the doors just open on their own then. Like if you're peeking and like a door just opens by
oh
itself, kind of thing.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
like
dang.
to game states not update. It's like it becomes quite complicated then.
You would have to
It's
like
like
get really clever and combine some like lore element. Like, there's ghosts among us, and you have to use your ghost scanner and attached to your chest to see stuff within you, or to see the
yeah, I
ghost.
don't know.
But you're
I
also a
don't know.
ghost.
Maybe we just need to take the third person for the time being. I mean, they're probably not going to
Yeah,
change it. But
I know
I
a
was
lot
just
of
wondering if that
people.
system would even work.
It's an interesting. I feel like like I said, I feel like there's something there. You just have to like really cook it up because
Mm.
I think there's pros and cons to third person for sure. And I think when it comes to like accessibility, generally speaking, the average person's gonna find third person more not necessarily intuitive, but just like more easier to like understand because it's like they're when you're in first person, it's like hard and you're new to gaming, it's hard to like conceptualize that you're an object in space and like how you
Kind of,
take
yeah.
up the space. Like it feels
Mm.
like it's easy for if you have to do any like fine movements on stuff, it's like not necessarily that intuitive because like you see your legs are just animations that play whenever you move about, right? Usually, usually not hyper physics based. You're just like a cube or like a pill model that just like has a little point that moves about. And if you just slide too many pixels too over, it just falls straight down. So whereas like if you see yourself outside of yourself in the game world, it's a little bit easier to process, I think, for newer gamers.
Yeah. I do also feel that aesthetically the game just looks better for it. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
like it looks really good in third person. I have to say, like
That's
I don't know
interesting.
whether the world is like more atmospheric or something.
Hmm.
Seeing your guy do the stuff, like the animations are obviously way
Oh
cooler as well. When
yeah,
you
that
see
makes
yourself zip
sense.
lining and all this.
Like
I don't know.
when you're
There's just something
breaching
about
into
it
a
that I
wall with or into a loop.
yeah, like doing the crowbarring of the
Yeah,
loot
that's
and
a good
stuff. Like
point.
it's just it feels a lot more cinematic because in a
Mm-hmm.
film, like it's never usually in first person. Like very, very specific things are in first person.
Right.
90% of stuff is like watching people do things. So it feels a lot more cinematic playing it in third person just because of that's what we're used to aesthetically. Which is I don't know. It's one thing that like if I find it as much as I dislike third person from a
Right.
gameplay
Right.
perspective, I find it hard to rag on it too much because I think it makes the game look spectacular and no
That's
one's really
interesting.
done it for the good reasons that we've talked about. But these guys have done it, and I'm just like, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Like I can see
I
why it's
feel the
annoying,
same
and
way.
I was thinking,
It's like
yeah, it's like
I don't hate
yeah,
it.
add something. Actually,
Yeah. But like I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? It's like
mm.
yeah. And that was like basically it. I mean, there was like some quality life stuff. Like I changed some of my key binds and like they didn't reflect in the UI. But like
Oh, I had that.
that's
I
not
kept
even like
pressing
a
E for the wrong button and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
But like otherwise it's like I genuinely could not come up with any like solid critiques. And like even then it's like third person camera for me is like hardly a critique. It's like a preference. It's like, maybe this would
yeah,
be maybe PvP wise this would be better, but then again, it's like a bit of a trade off here. I kind of like being able
yeah.
to see around the corner and see what's ahead of me without having to expose myself to the giant, massive Bastion with the Gatling gun staring right down down at me.
Yeah, exactly. And like it depends whether the game ends up being more PvP or PvE focused, just kind of by
Hmm.
the way that the player base plays. Like I don't feel the need to go and do like loads of PvP in this game. I actually feel much more immersed in like just wanting to, you know, explore the world and like be part of it and go and do the loot thing. And like it's kind of like quite chill. The games that I played in the first hour and a half, they were
Yeah.
pretty chill. So I was like, I could play a chill game. Like I already play enough like super sweaty hardcore games. Like I kind of I don't mind actually being quite chill. I saw there was a couple of videos people who'd like grouped up with like some friendly
Yeah.
peeps, and I think
God.
the way that the way that I think that there's a lot to be said for feeling everything, right? We always forget that we're human at the end of the day, and the way that you portray this stuff, it could just be a big wireframe game, and no one would play that, right? Like the overlay that you put over it, and like the emotional mental state that it puts you in, is the reason why we play these games. And despite it being, I found that the tone of the game, despite being, everything is completely screwed on the surface, like we can't go up there anymore. The kind of the underground, like people didn't seem to be living too badly actually.
Hmm.
Like only
Hmm.
the raiders were going up to the surface. The like human civilization wasn't like all dying of like horrendous diseases. People, there was actually like nice buildings and stuff. Like it actually looked quite nice, and people seemed quite hopeful. And in that kind of environment, it's not just like dog eat dog. It was a bit more like, yeah, obviously the raiders will fight on the surface, but
Us
like
against
everybody's
them
there
type of
for the
thing.
benefit of humanity. It's like Ark
Mm.
versus like the rest of humanity
That's an
kind of thing.
interesting
And
point.
because of that, it's almost, you can almost see, I mean, I can feel it in myself being like, I like feel more inclined to connect with other humans and be like, let's fight the robots
Yeah,
because they're
yeah, for
like a completely
sure.
different thing. And I've seen a couple of videos. I haven't actually watched it, but there was a couple of videos where people have like met up with other people and like, let's take down the big bot, and like you have 3 squads that meet up and just be like, let's just take the big bot down together,
Yeah.
let's Wi-Fi. It's just like kind of interesting. Like these kind of things they're more impactful than people give them credit for, and they have a huge impact on the way that people perceive the game.
That is a
Ultimately,
really like phenomenal eye-opening idea and point there. Like I didn't really consider that because yeah, you're right. It's like yeah, you're under it's not like decrepit. It's like I've heard someone call the art style also kind of like or the setting like retro punk or like retro futurism or something. It's like taking some of these older 80s and 70s tech and like kind of sci-fiing them a bit, but still keeping it looking retro-y. It's very interesting, and I dig it. Um,
yeah.
and
What's
then
the
you got
city called again?
I don't know, I don't remember.
Speranza.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's it.
Yeah,
Speranza. Any
but
pictures
yeah,
of it? Because
that's
it sort of, some of it was quite like, it's not really any good. Not really any good pictures. It's like with the bit with the traders. It's almost like sort of classical kind of town centery kind of thing. I don't know. It's just it's weird. It's got really strange. Oh, here's one, but it's
Even
really
when you
tiny.
like load into the menu, it's like looks like a very bustling, city that you're
Yeah,
kind of like in, and it's like, kind of gray, um, tech like objects, but then there's like a dune, very deserty kind of city background going on that makes it very bright. It's like sunlight's coming in essentially. How I don't know, but it doesn't
yeah,
look
exactly.
like
Oh wait,
you're not
I think
sitting
did I
there in
send you the wrong
like
thing? Yeah,
a bathroom stall with like your
it's not
broken.
like like Tarkov's like incredibly depressing.
Yeah, a bit more
You know,
gloomy for sure.
there we go. I've sent you the screenshot that I could find, but like there's parts of it that yes, it's sort of techie, sort of, but there's like
Oh yeah, wow,
a
that does look a lot better.
marketplace and like bunting, and you look at like the stonework.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
this is
like
like a city.
old classic European cities. It
Exactly.
looks
Yeah.
like a street in like the middle of Paris, for
Yeah.
example, or something like that. It's like very European style. So I don't know. It kind of felt, yeah, I
And I
don't
mean, this is like a huge
know.
crowd too in like the streets here.
Yeah, and
Like
there's
300
the
people
whole,
easy.
because I'm well into like my sci-fi and like world building and all that kind of stuff from this perspective. Because for me, it makes a huge difference to just how I perceive these things. And it felt like a society of hopefulness. People they weren't suddenly going to be people weren't just about to die because of Ark, right? It's like they've stabilized, and this is kind of how they make their living, and it's actually all
It's
right.
like this is a thriving civilization or civilization underground essentially.
Mm,
Also,
yeah,
shout out to Lance, one
yeah,
of my favorite characters. I just love his design. He's like this mannequin-esque looking android human. It's like what part of him is still human anymore? He's got all these like augments. Like I'm not even sure if his mouth moves. He just like has this robotic
hmm,
smoker like voice. Like I just imagine him in his former more human form, just like chain smoking, probably got up to no good very often, a little bit of a
yeah,
rebel rouser.
yeah. He's got like no face or anything. No, it's cool. I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Okay, oh, I hit
Cool.
the wrong
So
button. Very
why? What happened?
I accidentally
Oh,
shut
okay.
your camera off. Very last thing. Well, what were you gonna say? You said also.
No, I was going to say, yeah. Also, anything else that you want to add on
Very
Arc
last thing,
Raiders?
the looting is so good too. Which is like I feel like that's one of the things that doesn't seem like it should be top of your list in extraction shooters when you're making one, but like man did they nail it out because it's like there's so many items and you can use all those items in like crafts, but you can break this down. So let's say I bring back like um a military circuit board. I'm sorry I'm using Tarkov as an example, but like let's say I bring that back to I extract with it. I can then like recycle it and get like raw materials like metal to use for in like crafting guns, etc. And other crafts, and then I'll get like you know, circuitry and like wires. It's like, oh, and then
Mm.
I can like break down that further to like metal, and then break down the wires further to like metal as well. Whatever. Cool, right? That's great. Whatever. But this is where it gets crazy. I'm in raid, right? I got all these items, but I only got like 20 slots. I got like duct tape, I got, PSU, a graphics card, just all this junk. And it's like, and I got like some loose metal that I found, metal parts and like plastic parts. And it's like, man, I don't know what to take. It's like, I need this, but I also need this, I need that. You can salvage in raid, right? Which isn't
Can you?
as good. Yes. I know, right? Which isn't as good as recycling. But like, it's take that PSG or yeah PSG whatever military circuit board I said earlier. Um, when I recycle it outside the raid, it gives me more components like wires, PCB parts, metal, whatever. If I recycle it in raid, maybe it will just give me like PCB parts and that's it. So you get
Mhm.
less, but then that means I can stack it with the other loose PCB parts I found, right? But it
I
gets
see.
better, Giga. It gets even better, right? So look, then you get fabric, right? From salvaging. You loot fabric and then you can salvage it. But then there's a crafting menu in raid. You pull up the crafting menu. I can take my.
What?
I know. It's I learned.
Where?
I know. I learned this like 14 hours in. Our friends are like, yeah, just craft a bandage. Like, what? You can do that? He's like, yeah. What? It's like you hit tab and it's like there at the top. It's like, oh, crafting. It's like just next to like map and settings and what. It's just like, yeah, it's just there.
Wow.
So you can then take that fabric and make a bandage, but it takes like 8 or 14 fabrics. Whereas like in your base, crafting a bandage is like a lot less. But it gets even better because then it's like, oh man, my shields are broken. It's like, oh, if I kill this arc bot, I can then take this component and I could salvage it to get a battery, and then I take the battery with the metal parts and I can craft a shield recharger to freshen up my shield. I'm just like, oh my god, it's like I said, it's like they thought of everything and like in the best way possible, not just like
That's really cool.
it is so
That is so
cool.
cool. That's like a really miniaturized version of like the DayZ crafting system. Like, but like really
Mm,
distilled into like what do you need in this game? You need bandages, you
yes.
need ways to stack your loot, and you need ways to recharge your shields. I'm sure there's probably other stuff too. You can maybe make other grenades or other things you might need. But that's awesome. The fact that you can then farm them off for like this is the player driven. Oh man, you got me excited now.
You're
This is
telling
like
me.
this is the emergent behavior that you want to generate.
Hmm.
We're not on a quest to go and find the shield recharger because Ragman has asked me to, right? Like I'm going to go and kill drones to go and get one because it's like I have goals of my own because I'm damaged because of something else, and now I know how to get it in raid. It's not a quest or anything. It's not some contrived thing of it's always in this particular safe or whatever. It's like I have to go and kill a drone to go take the battery because it makes sense because you want to do it because it's going to help you in that particular raid. That's so smart. That's so
Yeah, I
smart.
love it because now it's like it adds so many layers. Because it's like, dang, do I just get out with this stuff I have, or do I start breaking down like higher tier stuff to have a lot of lower tier stuff and keep going? And it's just like that's so satisfying, as you said, the choices you can make, and it's like maybe I really need this part from the robot that I killed for like a craft back of my hideout, but I also really want to have spare shields. So it's like I gotta make a choice here. Like I said, I cannot glaze this game enough, right? It's like I think this game is gonna do really well. Like as far as like your average player base goes, I think it's gonna do really
Mhm.
well. I don't know if it's gonna be like the game for everyone, or like Tarkov players, I guess. But like I
Yeah.
can see this doing well on consoles and like general players because
Is it coming to
it's.
console as well?
I'm pretty sure. I could be. I don't know.
I genuinely can't remember.
I don't know. Actually,
I'll look it
that's a
up.
fair point. I feel like there's enough. I don't think the mechanics and like keybinds and that such is too
Oh
overwhelming to
yeah,
the point where you
PlayStation. Yeah.
couldn't map it. Okay, yeah, good, good, good. Because I could totally see like it's like you get that extraction extruder experience, but it's balanced in such a way where it's not so overwhelming because of all the design choices they
Mm.
made, and but it's not so stripped away that you're playing, you know, battle royale with extra steps. It's like
Yeah.
they did a really good job. So I'm super super excited to play
Final point about the game.
it. Okay,
I booted it up and it's like 100 FPS.
it runs. Yeah, I did see. I
For a
was
modern title, it runs amazingly well. It
for an
runs so well.
Unreal Engine. It runs pretty good.
Unreal
Like,
Engine new title and it looks amazing. I was running DLDSR on it because I couldn't be bothered to change my settings. And it was really finicky with the full screen versus
mhm.
windowed thing. It really didn't like it. So I had to change because I've set it for Tarkov, my desktop res is, mega uber 4K DLDSR thing. And usually it doesn't matter because I can normally just set it in game to 1440p, so that's fine. But this game would not let me. It wouldn't let me do that because it was forcing me into the desktop res, or I had to do like exclusive full screen and mess about with it. And it was like, this isn't recommended. And I tried it anyway, and it meant that my inventory was like 1080 and then in the corner,
Oh
and then the
no.
rest of the screen was normal. Like it just didn't work
Oh
properly, and it did say
no.
on there it was like the game is not made for this, and I was like, I'm gonna try it anyway. But even
Gotcha.
then, so I just left it on. But I was running it like 60, 70 FPS with like running in like, 3820, like some stupid resolution, right? And it's just the game's just like runs fine. Like I was just like, man, like Tarkov runs at this frame rate half the time. Like, and I'm I'm running it in, so it's an Unreal, the new Unreal stuff, and in a huge size. So there you go.
Yeah,
It looks insanely good.
I did not realize it was I thought they were using their own proprietary engine, but no, it's Unreal. And I learned that some people were saying on like Reddit, it's like, yeah, take they try to optimize it as much as they can, Unreal. Because Unreal sometimes can be a little iffy. And even in this game I still felt that a bit. Like they would just be like stutterers occasionally. It feels like
All right.
like streaming issues, asset streaming, things like this. Sometimes LOD would be like really off and on. I don't know. But that being said, the person was like, yeah, if you go to their website, you'll see that they got like all these like Rust, I don't even know what they're called, but basically Rust is like a programmer language. Basically, they were making the point is like they're really proficient in Rust, and they're leveraging that to optimize the engine. And if you, yeah, I mean, I didn't know I was looking at, but I saw on their website, it's like they had I forget what it's called. It's like you can follow their progress on what they're working on or something. It's like a bunch of Rust language stuff. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Looks like they know what they're doing. The finals ran great. And yeah, I'm gonna have to stop talking about this game because I was about to go on another one. But let's move on. I want to hear what you got to say about Grey Zone Winds of War. What is that?
Yeah, so I think the thing about Grey Zone is that there's been a lot of like the Grey Zone guys. They're great, but they do a lot of announcements. They do a lot of teasers. They do a lot of dev streams. They do a lot of updates and this kind of thing. And I feel that sometimes by the time you actually get near the announcement, it's just like, wait, so what's coming again? Like
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of that happens in between, and I also think it probably hasn't helped this time. So Winds of War is the third update.
Okay.
The initial one that came out in the first place was the one that everybody played. Then they did in terms of big milestone updates, they did Night Ops, which was number 2. But because they didn't really change anything about the game in Night Ops, a lot of people kind of skipped it. Like I played it a little bit just to have a look, and then didn't I probably played it for an hour maybe at most, just to, is the performance any different? Like, what does the night vision stuff look like? Okay, I'm kind of done. Like, I don't want to do the quest again. There's nothing interesting new with the gameplay loop, so I'll just park it and we'll see what happens. Like, let them cook, like we've said with Grey Zone a lot of times in the past. So now the Winds of War is interesting because, and I don't know if I even have the old. I don't think I even have the old. Oh no, I do have the old roadmap. So this one was supposed to be Dark Revelations 0.3, which is the lore update, right? And they basically at one point were just like, we don't have any traction here doing it this way around. Like we've got no traction to sort of to give people. And so they reordered it and renamed this one Winds of War. And based on feedback that people had given them, they have pretty much just like not changed the gameplay loop, but they've like added a unique gameplay loop to the whole overarching thing. So
sorry, when you say you don't have any traction, what does that mean? Like they
well, no one's playing the game, right? No one's playing.
Oh,
it. So
the lore update
wasn't going to move the pendulum. What's the point in? I mean, they didn't say that, but like, I'm pretty sure that's the reason. Like, what's the point of them putting out like a whole lore update when like no one's gonna like if you still don't change the core game, like no one's gonna be interested, right? It's like better to drop that kind of stuff later on, in my opinion.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So they reordered it anyway. They decided to take a slight change of tact and have renamed this one Winds of War.
Mm-hmm.
And the main point about Winds of War is the system of COPS, which stands for stands for control
I was like, there's
points.
Police officers now.
Yes, they've called them COPS.
Okay.
Combat outposts. Sorry, so it's combat outposts. Yeah. And so actually, if I could probably send you, because I've been looking at this quite a bit. So they're different to the LZs. So the landing outposts are still the same. Oh, I can't send it to you because it's too big apparently. But that is like really annoying. How about what if I do this? If I do this, so you still got the same. There we go. Take a screenshot of my own picture. Wonderful. you've still got the landing zones like we used to, but now the whole map is scattered with these what do I call them? Command points. The cops, basically. But I can't remember. I always forget what the acronym is that they were using. Combat outposts. Yes. That's it. So they've replaced them with these combat outposts. Sorry, not replaced. Overlaid as well. So you've got landing zones all around the map, and then you've got these combat outposts as well. There's two types of combat outposts. Yeah, so the little triangles are the new outposts. So there's a 1-dot triangle and there's a 3-dot triangle.
Okay, I see.
There's a couple of 3-dot triangles and there's loads of 1-dot ones. So the 1-dot ones are like a couple of walls, maybe a broken building, that kind of deal. And when you go there, it seems like I think I've only seen, because they did this on stream the other day. So they had Nice Guy, they had Clean, they had Good Boy, who's like a Grey Zone Warfare kind of main, and who else they have? They had Rilo. Who else? I think I'm forgetting somebody. I can't remember. But anyway, so they had a bunch of people, and they were playing against the devs on this like showcase stream that they did the other night. And so they were taking these positions basically, and so you turn up in to the point, and you like type on the laptop, right? There's like an interactive laptop. You type on that, and then it becomes your factions. Once your faction owns one of these points, you can spawn there.
Okay. So like a forward operating base.
And when you spawn there. And when you spawn there, you can interact with the trader and the stash as well. So you don't need to be in the main base at all. At the ones as well, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
I only saw them do it at the 3s, but I think you could do it at the ones too.
Okay.
It'd be almost interesting if you could do like only traders or only stash at the ones, but I'm not sure. I think it's at all of them, I believe. And so now they've also sped up the helicopter stuff a lot. So what happens now is that the game is much more. Like, it's not just you going backwards and forwards from the main base continuously, because that was what it was.
That was a big
previously.
gripe of mine.
Now the helos are basically like, you go and do an operation, you come back to the nearby cop point. You can take a heli or whatever, but like you might go from from that cop. You go back, you like restock, and then you go for the next mission. It gets better though. So they've changed the questing system, so now you don't need to go back to the main base to hand in quests.
Okay.
So you can do that in the field. You can basically radio in and be like, if it's like go and search these locations or whatever, you can radio. I don't think you even need to be a cop for that. You can basically radio into Handshake or whatever and be like, yo, dude, I've done it. Like, give me the next mission. And he's like, okay, now go here. You don't even need to go home. So there are some missions where you need to go and grab a thing and take it back to the base.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that's fine. But some of them you could be able to, accept the new ones while you're out in the raid, which is super cool. Then you've got this next overlay on top of all of this, which is when two PMCs engage in a fight.
Okay.
You get this. It's what's they even call it? It's like a PMC activity kind of thing. What would you even call it?
Like
PMC
a radio?
conflict zone. That's what they've called. That's what it is. So it's a PMC conflict zone, and what it is on the map, there's like a circle. Basically says PMCs are engaged in battle in this area. So if you turn up into a server, you can like open up the map. You can see all the different cops that are open. You say, okay, our faction controls these, they control those, and here's the circles where there's actual PvP. So you can then like fly in nearby and go and join in, resupply yourself with the cops and like join in the fight. Go and like take ones that aren't under that don't have any enemies in them or whatever. And apparently, even like if a PMC gets suppressed by fire from another PMC, that creates that combat zone already. So you don't even need to hit somebody.
Oh,
it just
nice.
starts creating these points on the map, so you can kind of see where the fight is. So it's pretty cool. They're adding a new trader who's basically like Fence from Tarkov. People die and their gear despawns. He sells that gear, and he rotates around. He's at 2 of the big points, the 3-star cop points. So if you control these 3-star cop points, you're more likely to run into this guy called Vulture. And you can buy like meta gear for cheap, or like good gear for cheap. That seems to be the implication. They said, "Oh, we're not going to talk exactly about how it works, but it's going to be worth it," is what they said. So I'm like, okay, That probably means it's like much cheaper, So if someone's dropped their like DDM4 or whatever it is, then you can go and buy it from him. So you've kind of got an incentive to actually own those points, and that whole system to me. This is the beginning of what Grey Zone Warfare is actually going to look like.
Sounds a lot more promising.
This is a lot better. Like previously to this, it was just a loot simulator and a quest simulator.
Yeah.
And there was no loot, and the quests were boring.
Yeah.
Right? And there was nothing on the map. There's a whole like load of other things they've done. They've added like 60 new POIs. So I mean, all of these
Mm.
points are POIs in the first place, and then there's 60 like other POIs. So they've changed roads into like little towns or whatever.
Okay.
You also get, by the way, when you capture a cop, you get AI like you do in your own base, and you get like radio
Oh,
faction comms if an enemy team attacks your cop, so you can kind of like go and defend it or
sounds really
whatever.
cool.
So like there's a whole now there's actually a game loop over the top of, you still have to go quest and like level up with the traders and stuff, but there's like a bigger battle happening at this,
Now
at the over the top of everything.
there's like an extra layer of reasoning behind increasing my power level. It's like I want to do these quests and get the good gear so I can get more outposts because that's also going to contribute to me getting better. And like the whole point of this game or idea in a way is kind of like a power fantasy. I mean, you start with like start at the bottom of the ranks and work your way up, get all this money. You're the most powerful PMC. You bought all the military nukes. Capitalism, baby. No, but at least that's how I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it in my head. Is like now I feel like, as you said, I'm not playing questing simulator for the sake of playing questing simulator. You know, because like
Mhm.
PvP wasn't like a huge part because the way it's designed is sort of like triangular, giant DayZ like map. You're on a
Yeah.
faction here. There's a faction north, the other faction's west. You're at the like southern eastern side. So like anytime I'm going to see the baddies, it's going to be like more towards the center. The center is inaccessible, and like what is my incentive to go all the way to their base and fight them for the sake of fighting them?
Mm.
It's like that's just asking a lot. I can just go play a Tarkov raid and like boom, I'm in PvP instantly. You know.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
this is
No,
like now I
it's
got to be strategic and there's pros and cons and benefits. I like it a lot.
yeah. No,
Oh, they show it right
it
here.
sounds really cool. Like, yeah, this is like this is the first step into making it an actual game. Like
I think
previous to
so.
this, it's basically just been a placeholder,
Proof
like
of
tech test
concept.
demo,
Yeah,
effectively.
yeah.
And yeah, some people talking in chat as well, BLP saying like, hopefully the POIs won't feel copy pasted. The game felt very much like that before, and there was just so much of the game. It was like the jungle was just, there was no reason to ever be in it. Like all the towns just all felt the same,
Mm.
and now, and now it's going to be like, there's other systems as well over the top of all this that are all coming together, and this is the thing, you need all the pieces of the puzzle. Like Grey Zone
Yeah.
was so bare bones before this, and now the pieces of the puzzle are actually starting to be built and then interlocked together. So previously as well, it was like it was just daytime all the time. That was it. Everywhere
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
the
yeah.
same. The AI all looked the same. All the guns were the same. Like there was just not enough content at all. There was no loot. Like the game was just really, really boring. Now they've added this dynamic weather as well. So now you're going to have like the monsoony type rains. It's not sunny all the time. It's like really windy, or it's like super overcast, whatever. We have that in EFT, and it adds a lot to the atmosphere. It dynamically interacts with your equipment. So if it's raining, you have like, I think you saw on probably the video there, you have like droplets on the glass. Like if it's really humid, it like fogs up in the LPVO
Oh, very
optics
neat.
and stuff. So it's really cool. And like AI have like different, they interact differently as well. And also, when you're running through, if it's like really like waterlogged, that like slows you down. The sounds different. Like, all the sounds were identical before as well. It was all just bullfrogs or mosquitoes.
I
And that was
remember
it,
that being the
right?
thing. It's like all you heard was a looping. Yeah.
Just really, really annoying. So they've changed all that. Like that only happens in certain sections of the map. It goes away when the rains come. Like the rain sounds now will depend on like where you're stood. It's like rain on the metal roofs, on the
Okay.
ground. Like it's like all the audio is different. Like all of these things make a difference, right? You can't just be all the same copy paste stuff. And then because I actually feel it's almost like getting two updates at once, because most people couldn't be bothered to check out Night Ops because nothing was different with the game. But now you have the full day-night cycle as well, which most people haven't really experienced. So you've got dynamic weather, you've got day-night, which is just constantly rotating around, where you're using MVGs and you're using flash. I saw some of the flashlight gameplay actually in the dev stream they did the other day, and it looks insanely cool. Like it actually looks
Really?
super. Like the flashlights are like really quite good. MVGs are quite hard to use. Drewski it was Drewski, that was the one I was forgetting, and he was like, yeah, you've kind of captured how MVGs work in real life. Like you put them on and you can't see anything.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here's some.
So like, but the flashlights are like really the way they're very the beam is very defined. Like they cut really nicely through the foliage and stuff. They just look really, really sick. They just look so cool. And
Oh wow, that is like that almost looks.
and it's now really dark at nighttime.
Yeah, it does look very dark. Let me go back here. the right button.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's actually loads coming. It's like hard to talk about all of it. Like even things like they've changed the system for the way AI responds to getting shot, so it doesn't feel like they just aren't getting shot anymore. You know, they've like changed the way the AI moves when they get hit, and the way that they show their injuries. They like limp and stuff. Like that's different now. They like changed the slow zooming. I mean, the thing is, most of this is about the gameplay loop of these cop things, and I think it'd be fun to go and capture outposts, whatever. You like go and mount an attack on an outpost, and
Yeah.
the guys like they set up a few scenarios to make it make sense on the dev stream the other day with these dudes. So they're like, okay, we're going to go and attack this, we're going to go and attack that. Like obviously they've only got so many players, right? It's not. They wanted to showcase some fighting, so they want to go and defend this one point or attack this point, and they gave them like a whole bunch of mortars because mortars are coming too. And mortars are, I don't know exactly how they work particularly. You buy them, apparently they're expensive, but I don't know what happened. I don't know like where they go. Like you don't use the mortar, like no player uses the mortar. You call them in the map menu, and you call them in, and they're just like, you know, HE coming in 30 seconds, whatever. And so you can like mortar the point. They're really expensive though, apparently, so it's not going to be like it was the other day. They gave them loads of stuff just to make it exciting or whatever. But that's kind of like the end game thing, is that you can go and like buy heavy ordnance to go and assault one of these points to like take it back. Maybe if you want to go and take the tier 3 point, that kind of thing, and they know you're coming. It's like, well, you mortar it first, then you go in. Like gives you somewhere to spend the money to go and like capture ground.
Do you know if, like, let's say one of the bases is getting taken over and I'm defending it, I die. Can I just not instantly respawn at the base, the forward operating base?
I
I'm
don't know what happens if it's
guessing.
contested. I'm not sure what the rules are. I know
Okay.
that the guys weren't able, because people were in the area. Because people weren't in the area. So because people were in the area, they couldn't like buy from the traders or restock. Like Nice Guy was like, "Oh, I can't buy anything." Oh, maybe it's because it's because someone's in the like area. I don't know how big that area is. We're gonna
Okay.
have to see. So I'm not 100% sure of the exact rules around like when you can and can't respawn.
Yeah,
You
let's
could
see how
respawn
that
at a
works out.
nearby point and run in, or like
Yeah.
exactly what how the LZ map overlays over that. But it was quite neat. Like they were taking choppers from like one point to the other, because like previously people were just going back and forth from the main base.
Uh-huh.
You die, respawn in the main base, and then you'd like take a chopper out, and it just meant you were waiting for choppers for ages. Whereas now people are doing these kind of like short journeys. You go from like one place to another place using the chopper, and then you walk on foot, and you're like moving from control point to control point. It's like it's very different. It's very, very different now. Super super different. There's loads of stuff that's in this. There's lots of little things as well.
Yeah.
Stuff
So when
like
is this coming?
soon. So
Okay.
there's a preview update. So they did the stream the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been yesterday actually. I think it was last night they did this stream at 5 o'clock. So I couldn't watch it at the time. So I watched it afterwards and then got excited about it because it actually looked really cool. It looked a bit like Armor. Like it looked a bit like an Armor mission.
That's
Like I've never really seen that in like an extraction shooter before. Like it was fun, and it was chaotic. It was really chaotic as well. But anyway, so that happened last night. There's a open kind of no NDA like closed circle creator test thing. So it's going to be streamed and people can make content, but it's like closed for the time being. That's from the 17th to the 20th or the 21st, something like that, which I'm actually in, thankfully. So I'm actually doing that.
cool.
So it's like limited sort of, early test thing to showcase it. And then they haven't actually set a release date. I don't know when it's coming after that, but they have announced that there were Twitch drops at some point later. So they're doing like a big marketing campaign for this one. But it honestly could be really, really cool. It could be really cool. I'm not a big fan of the creator test stuff. Like either just keep it behind NDA. Like it's just, I don't know. Too many people are doing it these days. I think. I actually don't
understand
really
why
like it.
they do it, but
I get it. I get it.
it's not my
Or like,
favorite.
Stuff going to creators first, whatever. Like I understand that if it's like embargo, you want people to make videos and whatever. But the like public showcases, I'm not as keen on.
I think the one that gets me the most, I saw this for Dune Awakening, is you sign up for a beta and it's like you can sign up for it. Here's how you sign up for it. Wishlist the game. Give us your email address, and you also tune in on Twitch from these hours to these hours, watching your favorite streamer, and get a chance to receive a key. I hate stuff like that. Like it.
Yeah.
That's where it's like I objectively think this is just like awful. I do not care about
Yeah.
some random person on the internet. I just want to play the game. You know what I mean? It's just I don't think it does any favors for creators, and maybe it does. It could easily be proven wrong. That'd be interesting to know. Does anyone have any data on
Yeah,
that?
I don't really know. It seems different because for Greyzone they don't actually need to do it because like people own the game already. Like
Yeah.
maybe some people come and buy the game. I don't know, but like you're not going to buy the game because creators playing it. You want to buy the game because you want to play it. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure really. It seems a bit strange, but because they
Well,
already had internal like they had like closed testing for
yeah,
this
yeah.
previously, which is like behind NDA. Like I wasn't part of it or anything, but like they've already tested it with like 1,000 people or something. So I guess it's a marketing thing. I don't. It depends how you want to do it, right?
I think it
Maybe
could
they
be
don't
a
think
bit of
it's ready
both.
for mass populace yet, or they're ironing out
Yeah,
some final bugs, and creators are a bit more lenient maybe than
I
the mass
don't
market. I'm
mind.
not sure.
I don't mind what Greyzone is doing. I just mind when it's like, there's like this incentive to watch because then you can play, which isn't the case here. You can enter the
Yeah,
lottery to get a key to play by watching streamers. Like that for me is like super annoying because like you're gonna give out 10,000 keys, but you're arbitrarily, doing deals with
yeah,
Twitch to inflate. Like it's all just like fake numbers, but
yeah,
line go up, I guess. Anyways.
yeah,
Meanwhile, I
yeah.
have to sit
Exactly.
here and watch, Jim Bob 369. He has only 100 viewers.
With
Hopefully
the
that
tab muted,
increases.
so
Yeah, hopefully because he has 100 viewers, I can get a key before. If I go to like Shroud Jr., stream, he's going to have like 300 million viewers. I can't possibly get a key from there.
yeah.
Copium, who
So
knows?
I don't know. I mean, it'll come sooner rather than later, I imagine. But yeah, I mean, what
That's
there's
cool
some
though.
other they're adding the SVD, the M9, the MP7, the MPX. They're coming as well.
Cool.
Some like other ballistic
I know those
stuff,
from
like
Tarkov.
there's tumbling rounds for the ballistics, so the
Whoa.
small calibers are a bit better balanced. There's durability in the game now. I don't know whether this is the thing. A lot of people have forgotten what was in the game because they've added like
It
stuff,
was
but no one was playing.
pretty light when I played it.
Most people's game time has been in the like 0.1 with no additional patches. So
Yeah.
like they've been doing quite a bit of stuff, and there's quite a lot in this update. So I think people are going to be surprised by the amount of things that are in there now, which would be quite good to see. I hope so anyway. On like, oh yeah, so graphics, right? Like we need to talk about graphics before we move on to any other topics. So that they said that it's not obviously going to run like the best game ever because of just the way it's done.
Yeah.
But it was quite funny. They talked about it right at the beginning of the cast, and they were like, "Yeah, we're testing this new mode for graphics. In house we call it potato mode,
Oh, okay.
but basically it's like so that the low settings actually do something.
Okay.
Is the idea because they didn't before, really, right? Like you were playing it at ultra or like ultra kinda. It
Okay.
was like that was basically the two options. So they were like, okay, we've actually made like the lower settings more impactful. We're testing that out. They're adding all of the new NVIDIA tech. They weren't sure about FSR4, but they're adding all the new NVIDIA tech. So we probably have the new transformer models for this game. I would think for this update, which is all right. Apparently they've made picture in picture a little bit better and stuff. So, but yeah, they said, look, the scale that the game's on, you're not going to expect this thing to be like outperforming other games.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna make it better over time. So I mean, I'm intrigued to see about that because it was a bit rough when I played it last
It
time.
was like borderline unplayable with
Like at the beginning, it was
every.
completely unplayable.
Yeah, it's like you
Like
had
it was completely unplayable at the start.
every handicap from like Nvidia or AMD lended to you, and it still was like and that made it like barely. It's like, yeah, you can have frame gen, you have 60 FPS, but it's like running natively at 30, and it's like
Yeah, and
everything's
you've
just
got
like
like
smearing across the screen. It's awful.
you poke your mouse, and 5 seconds later it moves. And
Oh
you're just like, oh
god,
my
yeah, it
god,
was
this
really
feels so
rough.
horrible. Yeah, it's bad. So yeah, so I mean, I think it's so they said they've done a lot on that, so this should be
Okay,
better
cool.
at least. So we'll see. I mean, I'm fingers crossed because like if there's one thing that's going to kill this game, it's that. Like if it just doesn't run.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I think it might be because they're going for like hyper ultra realistic. Like not everything looks amazing. Um like specifically the animations of the characters look kind of still a little
Yeah,
out of place, but everything else looks phenomenal, and like I feel like, yeah, as you said it, I feel like this might occupy a space where it's like if you like kind of like extraction-y shooters, but you really like milsim a lot, like Arma style.
Hmm.
I feel like this might kind of. And then there's also like if you like survival games like Rust, Ark, or whatever, but you hate getting your base raided and losing all your stuff. This is kind of like that, except you don't lose all your stuff. You keep everything.
Yeah, it's like a middle ground of those things. You know,
Yeah.
like big map, but it's not permanent. It's semi-permanent,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of Tarkov-y, but it's a bit like Armor because you're on like a big team. It's like
Yeah.
it sort of sits in the middle ground. Like they've got the structure here. They've got the base to make something cool, just because of the way that the game's structured, with these sort of big semi-permanent. It's almost a little bit like a completely different take on the cycles, permanent raid that you move
Yeah.
in and out
Yeah.
of. It's a little bit like that in a very, very broad sense. Like the server is always there, you're not always there, but you're not like connected integrally to the server like you are on Daisy or Rust, for example, where like your base is on a server. Like you don't care about like each individual server particularly, but that it is persistent in a sense because players are always playing on like that server with that game state. So it's sort of an interesting combination of stuff. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm basically going on holiday next week, so I'm away all week, and then this early test thing is launching on the 17th. So I'm probably going to stream the Saturday and the Sunday for this because I feel like that would be well. I feel like I should because I've been given the opportunity to do so. So I feel like I should. So I'm going to come back from holiday and be doing that. So people can come and watch what I'm up to on there, like checking out the new things. And I think that the early test for creators, I don't know if it's going to be like. I think it might be a little bit like the showcase thing. I think I don't really know yet, but something like that. I think you'll get like I think it's like accelerated progression or something. So you got to just like play around. So I don't think it's like the actual wipe. I think everyone will get because everyone's going to get wiped at some point. But I don't think the creator test is starting from square one. I actually can't really remember. But anyway,
Yeah, I was gonna say if you like this game, whatever, you wanna get in, go and buy the game, support their development. They are a privately held company. I'm on a kick now of specifically being interested in games that are made by studios that are privately owned and not publicly traded because then you don't have to deal with the baggage that comes with that. And that has its own pros and cons, but yeah. So they are privately held, which I think is awesome. And I think they got something here. It's just like I said when we initially talked about it, it just needs like 2 years in the oven. And I think it's been like at least a year. So like it definitely looks a lot more shaping up like a cake. And I think it's like it's not going to be a cake for everyone, but that's the best part about it. Is like if you like the way this cake tastes, you're probably really going to enjoy it.
yeah, exactly. I'm excited to play. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Cool. I look forward to the coming weeks then. So, as a quick rundown, Deadlock. All right, did I tell you last week that that there was like a major leak within Deadlock? Did I tell you about
No,
this?
I don't think you did. We haven't talked about Deadlock for a few weeks.
Okay. So, well, just as a contextual, I've been playing Deadlock on and off, but it's gotten kind of stale. It's been like months since like an update, and they changed their like they used to do like bi-weekly updates, and then they were like, "Hey, we're gonna focus on larger patches, and then but you're not gonna hear from us in between as much." And everyone's like, "Okay, yeah, that sounds good." And they did a couple updates, and but it's been a while. So there was a leak that came out. One of the like prominent streamers, he was like streaming and he was doing um a tier list with a fellow streamer, and he was like, "All right, guys, let's pull off the hero list." I mean, I wasn't here for this, but I'm just like imagining what happening because I only heard about it. Right? He's like, "All right, guys, let's pull up the tier list," and he pulls up a hero list, and there's like 10 or so heroes that are like never before seen and new. And then he realizes what happens and instantly shuts down his stream, right? Deletes the VOD, right? Then he comes back on and he's just like doesn't respond to anything in chat. People are like, "Wait, what was that? What were those heroes? Like, what's going on?" And so then people, because he accidentally leaked this, it gave other people courage to share their own leaks.
Oh
And
no.
so then there's just all these leaks coming out about how there's this secret Deadlock playtest. So
Oh.
this is the funniest thing. So Deadlock originally came to the scene because a journalist leaked the game. Right? They were like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Valve's game, guys. This is what they're working on." And Valve was like, "Hey, that's not cool. We're cutting all ties with you." But the basically, the cat was out of the bag, and so like that hit because everyone was like freaking out. Valve's making a game, and then Valve was like, "All right, well, whatever. We're just gonna like go, we'll just adapt to the situation." So you can invite your friends. I think that was like always the case, but it just like kind of spread a bit. It got a little popular
Mhm.
there in like August, I think. Um, and so exactly 1 year from the date, because I think originally the leak happened last year in May. Deathy, the streamer, did that leak, and then all the information came out about Valve. So basically, because the game went like closed beta when it wasn't really supposed to, like publicly
Mhm.
closed beta, Valve needed like to go back to like what they had prior, so they had to create another secret closed beta test. But then that got leaked again, so people know about it now. But yeah, there's like apparently there's been like some of these heroes in development for like they've been there for a while. It's like, yeah, these leaks, this stuff isn't exactly new information. And then there's been rumors about like a complete item and shop overhaul. And I was like, man, I was like been really craving a patch, and so I was just like staring at the Deadlight Discord, and like people were like spamming memes about patch notes and stuff. And so I was like, man, I hope there's a patch today because it is a Thursday. And then, I saw someone had posted a screenshot that I haven't seen before of a leak, and it was like an item shop reworked. And the art looked really good, and like there was new items and stuff. And I was like, wow, this looks really good. I hope this is real. And then as soon as I like posted that to my friends, I get a notification Discord from the Deadlock thing, and it's like new patch dropped on shop rework. I was like, oh, it is real. And I looked at it and it's like, oh man, the artwork looks so good. I don't know if I have an image, but yeah, they they changed the system a lot significantly. I mean, it went from like there was like three classes of items. There was gun, like weapon items, vitality items, and spirit items. And basically, like, weapon was like increases your gun damage. Vitality increases your survivability. Spirit increases your ability damage, right? And you could have four of each. And as you took more objectives, you would gain what was called flex slots. What these were universal slots. So in theory,
Mm.
you could have like instead of having only 4 weapon items, you could have 8 weapon items, or you could have like 6 weapon and 6 gun, but only 4 spear. So they did away with that. Now you only have a total of 8 slots and 4 additional flex slots. I think but everything's a flex slot now. So you could basically have like 8 spirit items at the start of the game and just be like, yeah, I'm dumping all of my items, all of my net worth into spirit, and I'm gonna just do 1,000,000 damage, spirit damage with my abilities. And it's made the game a lot more flexible, and they changed how items work and like the bonuses you get. Like items too are just a lot simpler. Like they used to be like you would get an item that's like alchemical fire. You throw like a grenade and it does like an AoE damage and it reduces their resistances. But it also like gave you spirit power. It gave you like weapon damage. It gave you like bonus sprint speed, 3% bullet reduction. Just like a bunch of random, like it became very like Diablo-esque. So they tone a lot of that down, which I'm personally grateful for because it's just like, yeah, I mean, it was like very overwhelming. If you wanted to like stat into like spirit power, for example, in the item shop search menu. If I typed in spirit power, it's like your
Oh,
results got reduced from like 100 to like 78. It's like, okay, well, this helped a lot. Anyways, um, yeah, I haven't really got to play with it that much, but like, I love the art style. I'm gonna have to like find a picture because it went from like absolute placeholder to like perfectly in the lore because the lore is like 19 something 1920s maybe New York City. So it's got like this very older style to it, but then the mystic element
yeah.
added onto it because it's all like magic and whatnot. Let's see, Deadlock shop.
I never really thought about the lore of Deadlock. Not something I'd ever really looked at. But yeah, I get that from having played it a little bit.
Here we go. Here's something. I don't know if it'll be big enough. Ugh. New image, perfect. And then let me get the old one. Uh, these are specific. Oh, is that how it worked beforehand? Probably, actually. Anyways, okay. Wait. Open image new tab. Boom! I'm so smart. I don't know why it's off to the side though, so I'm not actually that smart. Anyways, this was the old one. I don't know why it's scaled like this. By the way, just like off to the sides. This was like the vitality section of the shop, and then this is the new one, which is the weapon side, and it's just so, like the art style is just these items just look so much more distinct because before you had like this very generic stuff, and it all fits within
Yeah.
the lore of it, and I love like the attention to detail, like their art pass too. Because I mean, it was a big patch. I mean, there was tons of the main content was the items rework, right? But there was like tons of
Mm.
like additional stuff, like fixes, of course, but like voiceover changes, sound effects, etc. Like their art team is just really good. There's like a couple characters got like redesigned visually and updated. Like McGinnis now looks like what's that one girl's name? The Rosie Riveter. I'm saying her name wrong. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Nope.
Okay. Um. Anyways, I could look it up, but I don't feel like doing it. That's that. I can't wait to play with it
Oh, yeah,
more.
I know who you mean now. Okay.
Yeah. What's her name? Rosie.
Rosie the Riveter, it said.
Okay. Okay. Wasn't too
Yeah, I
far
know what you
off.
mean.
But yeah.
Iconic US poster.
Yes. That's that. And I'm just like, I can't wait to get in and Theorycraft all over again. Looking forward
That'd be good.
to.
I haven't played. It's probably, I think it's too far away from, like, none of my friends play, and
Yeah.
we dabbled a little bit, and it's like I think it's too far away from the other stuff. Like, if we're going to play a game like that, we're probably just going to play Dota because like none of us take it seriously enough to get into a new game which has all of this the sprawling trees of possibility, and updating as often as it does. Not that Dota doesn't, but yeah, it's just not enough time to learn another one
Yeah, no,
over
I
the
get
top.
it. It's
Yeah,
still like, yeah. I think give it like another year and I'll be very curious to see where it's at because now it's starting to feel a lot with this change. I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but it's feeling a lot more. You still keep a lot of the depth, but it gets a little bit more
yeah,
simplified a bit more. So I'm hoping that will make it more accessible. And yeah, we'll see. I'm
we'll
pretty
see.
pretty happy about it though.
Good, good.
Probably what I'm gonna do right after we close this podcast. I was like, boot it up and let's start. I'm gonna spend like 2 hours in the build editor and then close the game.
The 8-hour purge, update video
Oh my god, yeah, seriously.
style situation. Mm-hmm.
All right, well,
Oh,
we were supposed to do a shorter
have
stream,
fun.
but yeah,
It ended up being the same size as normal, but that's okay. lots of cool stuff to talk about. Yeah, I mean, like I don't know what we'll probably be able to record at the same time. I don't think, but I'm gonna be back on Saturday. We're playing some Grey Zone, so I don't know when we're gonna do the cast next. I'm not sure, but hopefully we'll be back, soon-ish. Maybe we could do the weekend or something. Given I'm gonna be here, I'm not at my house, so I'm here doing. When I'm here, I'm doing computer things, and when I'm at home, I'm doing not computer things. So it's very segregated.
You
I'm
have a
actually,
separate work life, work personal
I
life now.
know, and I hate it.
You've been
Man.
severed.
Like everybody loves this stuff. People are like, "Oh, but you really want to have to?" No, I hate it. I love having my PC at home. Like it sucks. It sucks to have to go somewhere, or whatever. Like I moved away from this for a reason. God damn it! I moved out of the corporate life for a reason. The benefits of a commute are very small to me. I just don't care. But anyway, we'll get on it at some point, maybe over the weekend. And it might be interesting to do actually after the first day of the Grey Zone test or something. If we do like Saturday night or something like that, potentially.
Okay, yeah, that could be fun.
Then we could talk about that, because I don't know how much there's going to be in EFT next week. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to be here to play it, even if there is.
Cool.
So yeah, we'll see.
All right, with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you everyone for tuning in as always, and we'll see you all next week.
Catch you later.